Hi there. For those of you that are interested in my programming, this video is a short interview that I did with a couple that just completed mental load mastery. They have one small child and wanted to share with you what some of the results look like for when men go through mental load mastery. So, Kristie and Eric, you guys Eric just finished mental load mastery with me, and I wanted to ask, Kristie, what has been your experience of him going through the mental load mastery program?
I think my experience has been greater communication. I think to sum it up, I think we've had better forums for communicating with the boring meetings. We've had better vocabulary to talk about the problems we face daily. And overall just more willingness to discuss the topics that are challenging, um, and have context for them. So I would say, yeah, overall, just a lot more communication and a lot more calm communication, like really effective communication.
And I know a lot of the people that are prospectively looking at doing it, and even I'm looking, Eric, at your initial um, questionnaire that you filled out. People are usually looking to dissipate the mental load and the emotional labor that comes along with being in a relationship. Kristie, what has been your experience with um, having the mental load or some of the emotional labor come off of your plate, and or not that it was ever belonging on your plate, but something that you were holding?
Yeah, I think a lot of mental load has certainly been transferred, or alleviated, as a result of the work that Eric's been doing. I think the experience has been kind of transformative. Like during this time, I actually started um taking myself to a yoga class out of the house for the first time, once a week. I haven't done that in over 10 years. So just being able to not feel like gonna get upset about it. Like not being able to feel guilty about doing that, knowing that that was something I could ask for, knowing that the emotional and all of the work that I was holding on to was preventing me from doing some of the things that were supporting my own, um my own needs. Yeah, I think it was huge to be able to just have it come off and know that the things that then made me a more whole human could kind of come back to the table. um
Eric, I don't think you've shared this with me over our program. It- Kristie, what do you think actually changed? So you said it's been like fairly transformative, but like, what do you think it was? Was it trust that got built that he could hold things down and manage things, and you didn't have to be like on all the time, or like, what was it that freed you up to do that?
Yeah, I think there was trust. And then again, like it's not a perfect path, right? It's not like once you talk about it, you get it right every time. But I think the fact that we're on a path and we do talk about it, and I have ways of communicating when I'm feeling like I'm carrying too much. And he has ways of saying, let me help you carry that, or let's redistribute, or why are you feeling that way? Maybe it's a mismatch in our expectations. All of those things make me feel so much lighter. Um, yeah, it was wild to see, actually just him knowing my expectations on certain things, made it feel that much lighter. And not that he was then chronically, missing the mark. Being able to meet the needs of the family in a way that felt good for both of us. That was huge.
Eric, I know that one of the huge values that you've seen out of this program was me forcing you and holding you accountable for having a weekly meeting with your partner where you guys are already business partners together, but you weren't necessarily talking about like the domestic workload. What would you say have been the like clear benefits that you've had in being forced to have those weekly meetings?
It's, I don't know, a structured time to prepare, um, a space to organize my thoughts so that I feel prepared going into our family meeting, our morning meeting. And for me, being confident about what I'm about to present and where I'm about to have a discussion is like 95% of what I need, more so than the content. Just the feeling of being prepared is enough for me to go into that meeting feeling good. So having that space and having that accountability, um, allowed me to do that.
And I know one of the things that you said was that one of the from the content, the content you kind of knew was there. Like you knew there was a mental load on her. You kind of knew the heaviness of it, but weren't completely willing to see the whole picture of it. And I think you had said that part of part of the value there for you was like I was forcing you to pick up the rug and like look under the rug there. What did you see that maybe your ego or like you'd just been like unwilling to maybe see around the mental load?
Yeah, I knew there was a lot of work that was happening, and it seemed kind of a insurmountable. I wasn't sure where to start or how to interject, and the whole idea just kind of made me uncomfortable. And when I'm uncomfortable, I ignore whatever's making me uncomfortable or just try and be anywhere else that is not uncomfortable, whether that's mentally, physically, whatever. So I don't know, our discussions really forced me to sit in that uncomfortable feeling and work through it. And the more that I'm doing that and understanding, hey, I'm uncomfortable, or hey, I'm feeling this because I'm trying to avoid something, and just understanding that that's what's going on is then really big. Um, and uh, the more that I am putting myself in uncomfortable situations, the less uncomfortable it's making me.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Mm. I know we're tight for time. Very last question, Kristie, is what is it about your parenthood and your partnership that you feel more appreciated by after him going through this?
I think I think it's just being seen. I think you do a lot of work and it's not always seen. And so because of that, the magnitude can't be appreciated, right? If you can't appreciate or if you can't see all the work that goes into, a handmade bag, then you certainly can't appreciate the craftsmanship behind it. And so I think it's kind of the same thing. If you can see how much, I would labor over, small decisions or, everyday things to make sure that our family was cared for in the way that felt good to me. Um, then I think we feel appreciated. We actually had a moment on Monday, or was that Sunday night, um, where like we were packing up our daughter's lunchbox for school, and he was just like, "Oh, this is so nice." Like he did half of it, I had half of it. Like we kind of at this point have like figured out our routine, like we like how we both carry that load now as opposed to when it was just me. And he was like, "Oh, this is so nice." Like, it means a lot that we're spending the time to give this to our child, right? Like we could just shove something in her bag and not care about it, but we're taking the time and it matters to us. And for me, that was actually a really big moment because that that feeling, that expectation of what I'm sending my child to school with matters so much. And I think that was totally being lost as it was in many other small cases. And now that he's participating in it, it actually matters to him too. So not only am I feeling appreciated, I'm actually feeling like I have a partner in that, and we're loving it together. And that was pretty special.
Thank you. Well, Eric, I acknowledge you for the work that you did. You sat in a lot of uncomfortable minutes and hours in those 10 group sessions that we had. And I acknowledge you for the effort that you took to put in there. And Kristie for, being, I know that you can't just have him in a vacuum learn these things and have these things. Like, both of you have to evolve together for it to work. So I acknowledge you two for doing the work and helping yourselves transform and letting me be the container for that.
Thanks
Yeah.
for being there along the journey.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the forum, I think you're doing fantastic stuff.
Thank you.